Guys, so I actually need to do a little project for myself, so I figured I would just record the whole process from start to beginning and show you how I'm doing it. So, oh, here it is. So, painted this with gray acrylic paint, and I plan on putting it on our front door. I didn't want to do just a Valentine's Day decoration, so I'm putting Welcome to the Wild House on it with pink vinyl. But I'm going to show you guys, I want to do it in script. So I'm going to show you guys how to ungroup letters, attach them to each other to make it look like a flowing cursive, and then I'll print it out. I'll probably just do welcome on the video just because it will take a little while for it to come out. And then we'll stick it on. So let's go to Design Space. So if I go to New Project and add text. So I'm going to do these as they would be on the lines. So I plan on doing welcome on top, then to the, then wild, and then house. Okay, so the font that I want to use is Autumn and November. And that I can actually show you really quick how to get that. So if you go to defont.com, type in Autumn and November. Here it is. You'll hit download. Now I'm doing this from a PC, but it's similar on a Mac. I have a Mac as well, so I do this basically the same way. I open up the download. Then in there, I open up the font and click install. It's already installed on my computer, so I'm not going to click that. But click install. And then make sure you click out of Design Space and back in, and then it should be in there once you install it in on your computer. I know Mac looks a little bit different, and I can do a separate video on my Mac if you guys need it. But that's how I got all the fonts that I have. And then as you can see, when I go to System and I type in Autumn, it comes up. So I'm going to do that with each of these because I want the font to stay the same. Okay, and now we can see that they're not attached, and we want them to be attached because it's cursive. So I'm going to take each of these and come over here to ungroup, and then I'm going to zoom in, mainly because I can't see, and I'm going to connect them now. Now all the letters are separated, so I can just move them over. You can drag them over, you can use the arrow keys to just automatically push it over. So right now I'm using the arrows. Sometimes it lines up weird with the arrow. So like here, I didn't want it to go over as much. So I dragged it and then bring this over. I want that to come over a little bit more. Okay, so this welcome is how I want it to look. So now I'm going to select just the welcome and make sure you weld it. If you don't weld it, then your machine's going to cut out where this L is overlapping here. It's going to cut that out. And then it's going to cut out where the E and the L overlap and so on and so forth. So welding it makes it all completely smooth, and now they're all attached. So now I can do the sizing of this, which I wrote down somewhere. Okay, so the top I'm going to change, I need to unlock this. The height needs to be 1 inch and the width is going to be 10 inches. So here is what welcome will look like, and save that. Okay. Now I am going to do the same to these. So I'm going to ungroup them. Whoops. Zoom in and move them together. So with these, that word's done now. So I'm going to select all and weld these ones together. Just kind of put those to the side, and we're going to do something else with that with the word the, so that we can attach everything. So here, I often run into issues with the T's with script because they're just so long, but I really like them. So sometimes I'll just make the H slightly smaller so that they can be spaced out without making it look awkward with the T being like that. And then I'll pull the E back to where the position should kind of be so that it's not like everything's completely thrown off. So the word the is done, and I'm going to weld that. Okay, now I want to the to be next to each other and also not move. So here, and you can select them, and if you do align, like if I want the bottoms to align, I can do align bottom, and now they're together. And then I'm going to attach them. I'm going to attach them and not group them because they're the same color and I plan on cutting them out in the same color. So it's okay to attach them. If they were different colors, then you would want to group them. But now they'll cut out like this so that I can just easily put the transfer paper over both. The positioning's already right. So now I need to change the sizing of this. I'm going to unlock it. I don't know what it just did to me there. It's being very weird right now. Okay. This one's going to be, again, the height's only going to be 1 inch, but the width will also be, I don't know if I'm going to keep it that wide because I don't really like how it distorts them. So let's do 8. Oops. See, I didn't unlock it there. So let me unlock it now. There we go. I think that looks so much better. And this can actually be a little bit smaller. Okay. So there's those two. I like what those look like. Then wild needs to be smushed together. So I'm going to ungroup again. And I normally just drag the letters over. Sometimes it's just easier for me to do it that way. Okay, so that's how I want it to go. So I'm going to weld them. And then my height will be 1. And I originally said 8. That definitely doesn't need to be that big, but we can keep it at 6. That works. And 2, though, we can space out however we want. If I don't like it like this when I print it and when I go to look at it, we can cut it and space it however we really want. And then the word house, last one that we need to group together. So it's time consuming, but it's worth it in the end because it looks so much nicer when the letters are together. This took me forever to get down. Okay, so that looks good, and I'm going to weld those together. And I'm going to change the sizing. I don't know why it keeps jumping on me. Now this one is on the very bottom of the heart, so I need to make sure that it's small enough to fit there. Now this one, I kind of want to make this one a little bit smaller too. All right, so I'm just adjusting it to be what I want it to be. All right, that looks about good. I'm gonna save it. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my vinyl ready. Now I know I have it as black on here. I'm gonna leave it that way. I know I'm printing it on pink. It really doesn't matter. My vinyl is in sheets. I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Let's figure out how many sheets I have. All right. So I'm gonna use a light grip mat. Actually, brand new light grip mat with the mats that I showed in the last video that I posted, the real like mats, so you guys can see what a brand new one is like. All right, so let me switch everything over to my other camera. Stop sharing this. All right. So let's do. All right. So here's our mat. Oh, everything's going to be sticking to it right now. All right. I had to kind of set something up over here because I don't really have a dock cam. All right. So here's my little setup that I have. All right. So here's the mat that I have. It's the light grip from Real Like. You can see Real Like over in the corner. But all right, so I have my pink vinyl. Now this is just adhesive permanent vinyl. So it goes shiny side up. If you're working with HTV, that's opposite. Shiny side down with HTV. And HTV is iron-on. So any kind of material like shirts that you can add heat to and it be okay. We use HTV, also known as heat transfer vinyl. So, okay. So I have my pink on there. It's hanging off to the side too, but that's okay. Try to make it so there's no bubbles in it. If you need to unpeel and repeel, whatever, but as you can tell, it's sticking really nicely on here. I love these mats. So I am now gonna go ahead and put the mat in here and get that positioned. Then I'm going to come over here and select Make It. Okay. So as you can see, everything's going to cut out line by line. So I'm just going to position it so that it positions it correctly. And here we go. So to do that, I just moved things around, dragged them, did whatever, put them on the mat. The mat is completely covered, so I'm not worried about the positioning of it. The whole mat it's there. Like I said, this is hanging off down here, but it's all good. It'll still cut it perfectly fine. So if I hit continue. All right, so I moved my dial to vinyl and it's connecting with Bluetooth right now. When it connects Bluetooth, that light will turn blue. As you can see, it's ready to go. Here it says vinyl. I'm actually going to turn it one more to the right so that it changes to vinyl plus. And then it's ready to go on here. I can do fast mode. I'm not going to in this video, but I can All right, so let me stop sharing this. This is ready to go. It's blinking. I'm gonna hit it and it'll go. And I just have a regular blade. Whatever blade comes with yours is what's in there. I mean, mine's the Amazon version of it, but it's essentially the same thing, just not Cricut brand. But you guys can see what a brand new off-brand mat does, and this needle or this blade is fairly new too, and it's off-brand, so you can see what this does as well. And I know I said we were just going to do the welcome, but I'm actually just going to cut out the whole thing, and I'll show you guys how I weed it and then separate it and do all that other stuff. Okay, so it is done cutting now, and it pushed it as far out as it can, and then this arrow is blinking, so I'm going to push that and it'll push it out the rest of the way so that I can just easily grab it. So now it should be completely cut out. So I'm going to away from the mat. All right. So now it's hard to see, but I have it all cut out, and I'm actually going to cut it off of this big sheet. Okay. This is the part of the pink that has what I want on it. I'm going to put the plastic cover over this again. Cats like to walk on it when it's not on there. All right, I put that mat up there. Okay. Now I use my weeding tool to do the rest of this right here, and I have a light that I use as well so that I can really see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to peel from a corner. As I peel away, as long as it cut all the way through, it should be pretty easy to pull away. Now this is some of my, gotta be careful so it doesn't stick like that. This is some of my favorite vinyl. This is Ultra 651. It's definitely my favorite permanent vinyl. Alright, so I'm doing a little bit of a pain right here. So I'm actually going to take this so that it doesn't come back and mess anything up and cut that off. I know some of you like to save that. I don't know how to save that correctly, so I don't. I know it's a waste of vinyl, but it's all good. Okay, so that T didn't want to stay down for me. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I definitely should have cut this better to save some more of this vinyl, but I have so much of this pink and I didn't know what in the world I was going to do with it. That's how it ended up on the sign. Okay. All of that, I use an old pickle jar as my scrap bucket. So this needs to be repositioned definitely. I just dabbed it in there. Don't do that. This is just for me, so I'm really not worried about it. And I'm not trying to make it absolutely perfect. So there we go. So now, whoops, we have welcome to the wild house. So now I'm going to read in between everything. And I've seen people with tools for this reading, so that they're not like sticking it to their skin and stuff. I don't have one. This works just fine for me. Sometimes it can be a pain, but not bad. These are sometimes a pain with this one. There we go. They're so little. E. And the light just kind of helps me see what needs to come out and what was cut. Some people use a headlamp, some people use a light mat. I know Cricut sells light mats. I've never used one before, so I can't speak on that. But a light like this works perfectly fine for me, and it was like $5. So I didn't spend a whole lot of money, which is awesome. All right. So now I have it completely weeded out. All right. So now I'm going to cut each line out. So welcome on the top line. To the is on the next one. Oh, and my eye little dot's not there. Whoops. So I'll eventually print that out and add it. Right now I'm not that worried about it. All right, so in this I actually missed this and this. All right, so I think that's good now. All right, now we're going to start with welcome. And now I need to use transfer paper in order to transfer it to our sign exactly how we want. So the transfer paper I use is from Dollar Tree. It's just contact paper. It's the best stuff that I've used. So it's the clear, transparent contact paper. You can find it in the kitchen section. I'm going to position this over and kind of cut this to size. All right. I'm going to peel this. Sometimes I use my tool, and I did not make that long enough. Sometimes I use the weeding tool to help me separate the backing on the transfer paper. But this one is a lot easier to do. I'm not going to throw that away. Than the Cricut brand, in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to cover that. I'm going to use this tool to scrape the back onto my transfer paper. It should just lift up. If it doesn't, just keep scraping it until it does. If you need to use the spatula tool to get it on there, that always works too. All right, so here's the sign. So I know this is upside down for you guys, but I'm going to try to center that as much as possible. And then I'm going to scrape that down on that. All right, so now we have the front part of it saying welcome. All right, we're going to do the same thing all the way down. So next we have to the, this might work. All right. Okay. Stick the transfer paper on there. Scrape it. So there, it's not peeling. Let's see if it'll peel from this side. Okay. From this side it peeled. So sometimes you just kind of have to play with it. That transfer paper wasn't all the way on the letter, so that's why it wasn't lifting from that side. But that's sometimes where the spatula tool comes in handy. Okay, so now I'm going to put to the in the middle here. All right. Oops. I did not scrape this one down, and that's why it's giving me issues now. I don't even know where I just put the scrape tool. Oh, there it is, right underneath. There we go. Much better after I scraped it. Okay. So we have those. I'm going to hang on to transfer paper because you can reuse several times. So now I want Weld. Here, I'm reusing this piece of transfer tape, as you can tell. Definitely used, but it works. So, welcome to the Weld, and that's not centered. Hi, Ollie. My cat likes to make appearances often on Zoom. What are you doing? It's not dinner time. Okay, and I will add dot to the eye before I actually hang this up because that's going to annoy me that that's not there. But it's little things like that to pay attention to when you're doing the weeding, baby. Because that was on the transfer on the vinyl still, it just didn't come up. Molly. Okay, scrape this. And we've got the last bit to put on, which you guys cannot even see right now. But I will show you once I get it on here. So I'm scraping it on. Molly, must you be right here? Yummy. All right. So here it is. Welcome to the Weld house. And that is from start to finish how I did this sign. I mean, I didn't show you guys the painting, but that's how I cut it out of the vinyl. That's how I got it on the mat, and that's how I weeded it. So, and you also saw why we weld and how to get those letters together, which I saw was a very popular request. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions about that or anything else that I did in there that you need further explanation on, just let me know and I would be happy to help you.